Welcome back, Goblin Chefs. This is APGAINS from another episode of APGAINS at Night. It's just APGAINS, but it is indeed harder to see me. I'm going to make a serious video about a serious topic for a lot of people. I'm going to be honest with you, this is an APGAINS video, so I will likely say bad words. So if that's something that you're not super big on, I guess don't watch this video. I guess topic of the video is going to be quitting Heroes of Middle-earth, because I'm just going to come out and say it. Obviously, Mobile Gamer did a video about quitting Heroes of Middle-earth. There's been a lot of sentiment in the official Discord for the game about it being boring and that people are going to leave and all this other nonsense. And not nonsense in the sense that what you guys who are thinking about leaving or have left is wrong. I just used the word nonsense to mean almost anything, so I didn't mean to offend you right there, I guess. Let me give some background, I guess. Obviously, this game is made by CG, Capital Games. For purposes of full disclosure, I have a very interesting relationship with the studio. There are a fair few people who work there, who have worked there, who no longer work there, who still work there, who, I enjoy the presence of, and they are friends with me, and we all get along, and it's all fine and dandy, and it's fantastic. And there are plenty of people where the opposite is true. I have felt slighted by them in the past, personally and professionally. I have felt, fortunate to have them as an ally in key points in my personal and professional career as a YouTuber as well. So everything I'm about to say comes from a very gray perspective on how they run their company and stuff like that. So I don't want you to think that I am biased in one way or the other, because it's never really as simple as people think it is. What are some of the reasons people have been talking about quitting the game? It's boring. You're right. It's boring. There's not a ton to do. Someone, I didn't get a chance to watch the video, but someone, I saw a thumbnail, was talking about how we're in like beta. I think it might have been Boil On, actually. We're in like beta 2.0, where there's nothing really in the game, and the game should have been released in a more advanced state and stuff like that. And while that's probably true for most games, I'm actually happy that's not true for this game, and I'll kind of explain that and try to convince you why I don't think it would be a good idea to quit this game. Generally, there is nothing to do except for grinding in Arena, and I would say it takes you about less than 30 minutes to do all of that. So contrast to the other game, Galaxy of Heroes, where you're required to play like 5 hours a day, which is a little extreme, and I think a lot of people are kind of going in the opposite direction, where they want to spend less time in the game. A lot of people want to spend more time in the game. That's understandable. The game's new. It's a good IP. People like the IP. It's, got familiar game mechanics that people are interested in, stuff like that. I have spent very many years, and I will not lie to you, I've been relatively successful as a YouTuber, revolving my entire channel around roster construction in Galaxy of Heroes. And this game is exactly a carbon copy of Galaxy of Heroes. So if you've never played Galaxy of Heroes and you only play Heroes of Middle-earth, you'll understand conceptually what I'm talking about, even if you don't understand terminology or characters or stuff like that. My entire channel is based on helping people, especially free-to-play people, because we don't spend money on that game. Obviously, for this specific account on this game, we are going to spend money, but my other free-to-play accounts won't, and this is mostly just because no one's testing, so I have to do my own testing, which is not something I'm happy about, but, whatever. I've created the entire YouTube account essentially around the idea of figuring out ways for free-to-play players to beat the whales, and we've been incredibly successful. And a lot of what I've done, especially in the last 2 years or so, is help people who used to play the game, who then quit and came back years later, kind of get back into the swing of things. And the thing I keep hearing over and 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 over again is that, they quit when the game was boring, and they came back and they're having a ton of fun, but they're really, really, really sad that they weren't playing that whole time, because now they're super far behind and they can't catch up, and they're sad, and they're still having fun, but they want to get they wish they were at the point that they could have been if they kept playing. And I think that is obviously one very common for that game, because that game's been around for 7 or 8 years, so those people have had plenty of opportunities to leave and come back. But this game is brand new. This game is brand new. There's nothing out yet. It takes 20 minutes of your time to do the full gameplay loop during the game. You wake up, you do your dailies, you do a couple arena battles, you go to bed, or you turn your phone off and you play the next day. It's fine. If you are a free-to-play player and you want to be successful in this game, it doesn't take a lot. All it takes is just basic consistency. It sounds really stupid and really dumb and really terrible, but like these games, especially with capital games, not like Marvel Strike Force, which is an unimaginable shit show. Raid and Disney Source Arena are really bad. CG is good at two things. They're good at making a lot of money, and they're good at surprisingly making balanced games, right? You give them shit, but their game is balanced, right? Their ability to farm characters free to play is infinitely better than 99% of games. The squad synergies in larger scale interplayer, inter-guild PvP and PvE are very balanced. They do a very good job of making money and making a balanced game. This game, Heroes of Middle-earth, will be no different. They will make a ton of money off of whales. And they will make the game balanced so that you can figure out how to game it in your favor if you're smart. It has always been that way in Galaxy of Heroes. After the arena meta was gone and there's actually stuff to do. And it will be like that in this game. Right now, if you spend money, you're better in arena, and arena's the only game mode, so it's 100% pay to win and people are sad. Boo-hoo. If this is a game that you think you will ever want to play at any point in your life, just commit to the 15 to 20 minutes to do your dailies, right? Like, there's no raids yet. There's no 50v50 guild PvP events. There's no Grand Arena Championships like in Galaxy of Heroes where you take your entire roster against your opponent's entire roster and you battle it out, and the best strategist and best farming guide and all that stuff wins. Like, there's none of that yet, right? So all you are doing right now is having a free opportunity as a free-to-play player to build up a well-rounded, well-constructed roster by the time these events come out, that when there's new people who are spending tons of money, you will be able to beat them, right? That's all that this is. Yes, maybe this is beta 2.0, but who cares? Who gives a fuck? Like, until like 4 days ago, I had not spent any money on this account, and the only money I've spent is on this one specific character and nothing else, right? As you see here, what am I doing? I am building a wide roster. I am building a bunch of teams, right? Because I knew I was never going to be able to compete with the Elrond meta if I didn't spend money. And obviously, since I'm a YouTuber and it's quite literally my job to make content and to make money off of that content via ad revenue, I decided to spend the $120 on Arwen. But if I hadn't, like, I would have done the exact same thing. I would have built a wide roster. I would have prepared for legendary events. I would have built up squads so that when these raids and when these big inter-guild PvP game modes come out, I will have plenty of teams that will have counters to the opponent's teams, and I'll be able to have that fun. And I'm just fucking farming. Like, the thing that I've always been a big proponent of in Galaxy of Heroes is that there is no skill required to play that game. There is absolutely, positively zero skill required to play Galaxy of Heroes, unless you are spending $40,000 or $50,000+ over the course of your account. All right. If you have spent less than $40,000 to $50,000, you're not in the top 100, and therefore, or top 200, or whatever the arbitrary number is, and therefore, the only thing that matters is that you have better characters and better teams than your opponent. That's all that matters, right? It will be the same thing in this game, so that's why I'm using Galaxy of Heroes as an example, right? So if you spent more time, more precisely, farming the right things, you will beat your opponent, right? And what is this game right now? It exists in a state of farming. It exists in a state of there's nothing to win right now. Like, yes, it's pay to be cooler in arena and get more crystals, but do you think, like, I don't know if I ever uploaded the Josie Wales roster review where we looked at Josie Wales, spiritually the number one player in the game right now. He has fucking everything, and he's spending money, and he's at the top if he wants to whenever his arena payout is, right? He's not winning anything. Like, he's in my guild, and it's fine, and like he doesn't win anything. He's paying, and he's shinier, but like he buys crystals, so like these 620 crystals he gets every day don't mean anything, right? Like, Oh, he spends $5 less a week or something like that. Like, there's nothing to win right now. The only thing that the game is right now is preparation. This is the fucking NFL offseason. This is OTAs. This is Summer League, NBA basketball, or whatever the fuck they do in soccer. All right. Identify what's going to be good. Rohirrim is going to be good. Elves are going to be good. Haradrim is going to be good. Isengard, Orcs, Mordor are going to be good. You know, Road to Rivendell might be useful for something at some point, right? Farm up those teams. Get them to 3 stars. Get them level 30. Get them to gear 5, right? Is it going to take a while? Yeah, it's going to take a while. You're not going to have luminous crystals. Like, I don't have fucking luminous crystals either. Like, oh no. I go to my account and I have no luminous crystals. Oh, I'm so sad. But I'll get a couple more tomorrow. And I'll get a couple more the next day. And if I'm spending 15 minutes on this game, right? Like, this is not my life. You know what I mean? Like, my entire life does not revolve around the 15 minutes I spend doing my dailies. All right? So if you ever at any point ever think that you're ever going to want to play this game and want to be competitive and you want to be free to play, or even if you want to spend, all right, like, commit the 15 minutes to playing this game, to slowly farm up your shadow and luminous crystals, to get your characters. And by the time something fun happens, you're going to be the one who's going to be successful. And all the people who join on the day that the raid comes out, they're not going to be able to do the raid. They're not going to be able to have the teams. They're not going to be able to have fun. All right. And all the people who, you know, were free to play and were a little bit later than you and weren't really farming and weren't doing the right thing and weren't following guides and stuff like that, they're not going to be as successful. Are you going to have to compete with whales who can just buy everything right away? Yeah, but you're going to be able to beat more of them because you spent more time. You spent more of those 15 minutes a day grinding up those teams so that when fun shit actually does come to the game, you're going to be more successful. That's all it fucking is. It's literally just the off season. I'm tired, so quit the game if you think you're never going to play it again. All right. I don't like CG either. I mean, I like people on their team, but as a whole, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the stuff they get. So I get it. This mobile gaming is the people versus the man. Like, I get it, right? I disapprove of a lot of stuff they do just as much as you do. But I enjoy the raids and I enjoy the PvP and the PvE and all that bullshit. And I want to be good at it. So I'm spending my 15 minutes a day. And that's all it is.